Hello everyone, and welcome back here in my kitchen, and you're cooking with Kathy. Today I'm going to make Mexican for supper, and I thought I'd bring you along so that you could see exactly how I make my homemade pico and pico de gallo. Let me say the full term of it. So in the first part of this video, I'm going to show you what you need for your pico de gallo. And if you don't know what pico de gallo is, it is an onion, tomato with cilantro, lemon juice, some seasonings, and it is like a fresh salsa. And my husband absolutely loves it. So I make this for him every time I do Mexican at home. So let me angle my camera down, get all my ingredients lined up here for you, and then we'll show you what you need to get this going. Okay, so for our pico de gallo, we are going to need Roma tomatoes, a white onion, a lemon, so you can get the lemon juice out of half of a lemon. We're also going to need ground cumin or cumin, and I use this Classico seasoning called Tajin. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I use this in my pico all the time, and I love it. It's a mixture of chili peppers, sea salt, citric acid. It has some dehydrated lime juice, just some different chili peppers and things like that, but it gives the pico the perfect flavor. So let me grab a knife, and we are going to start off with cutting up our onions and our tomatoes. So I have a trash bowl here that I'm going to sit all the way up here. And I'm not sure if you'll see that, but anyway, what I like to do is I like to have a trash bowl. So as I cut my tomatoes and things, I can go ahead and put the trash pieces that I'm not using into my little trash bowl or a compost bowl. I like to turn my aromas like this, and I like to cut them in probably about 4 slices this way, and then I will cut them. I like to use a serrated knife because it cuts them without mashing them, and that will give me what I need to go in my pico. Now I've got a bigger bowl here for my pico that I'm going to need, but I like to have room to mix it up. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to cut my tomatoes, and when I get those all cut, I'll bring you back and we'll cut the onion, and I will be right back. Okay, we are back, and as you can see, I have my tomatoes all diced up. So now we're ready to cut our onion, and I went ahead and took off all the excess skin off of my onion prior to bringing it over, and I just like to cut off both ends, and then I peel off usually that first layer of onion. And this is just what I do. If you want to leave that on there, I just find that sometimes that's kind of tough because it's getting ready to go into the skin or the peel. So I just take that off so that what I'm getting is really good fresh onion from underneath. And you just have to take your finger and pull it, and it will usually come right off. And it's just that first layer. And some people might say, well, that's a waste, but it's just what I've always done. So it's just the way I do it. I always say, you do you. Whatever you like, you just do your thing. But this is just the way I cut mine. So I'm going to stand that onion up, and I'm going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay it down, and I'm going to cut in all the way across like this. This is going to give me a good dice. Then I'm just going to turn it like this. Let's make sure that y'all are straight. We're going to camera went a little askew. Then all I'm going to do now is just cut this into small dice pieces. And I find if I hold my knife like this, I have better control of it. So I always hold my knife by the top part of the blade, and I let the handle rest into the back of my hand. It just, for whatever reason, that works best for me. And now I'm going to take my onions and put those, oh, you know what? I need to take some of those tomatoes out. Let me grab a little dish because we're going to need tomatoes to go on our taco salads. I'm going to make taco salads tonight. So I'm going to take a couple of handfuls of the diced tomatoes. I didn't need to make that much pico anyway. So I took out a little ramekin with some fresh tomatoes. And now we can go ahead and put the rest of the onion in here. Oh, that piece didn't get chopped. Let me bring that piece back over. And we're just going to chop that up like that. And I'm going to chop this piece as well, but I'm going to chop this to go on our taco salads. Now, my husband likes raw onion on his. I'm not a big fan of the raw onion on my, don't get me wrong, I love onion. But when I eat my Mexican, I just like to be able to taste the meat and the cheese and the lettuce and the tomato. So I don't usually put onion on mine. And each person, I say it's a preference. So he likes it like this. So I always make sure I have a little extra chopped up onion for him, just to go on that either taco salad or tacos. He likes onion on both. So I'm going to keep out about half of this, and I'll put the other half in the pico. And now I'll get a small container to put that onion in, and that way he'll have onion for his taco salad. So we'll put this right here. And of course I make a mess. You know, y'all know me. That's okay. We can scoop it up. My counter's clean. I made sure everything was wiped down before I started. Now the other thing we need for in here is some cilantro. So I have already brought out some cilantro, and I pinched off a bunch of it. Move this out of your way. And I just have it right here on my cutting board, and I'm just going to just chop it up very randomly. It's no rhyme or reason on how you do this. You just want it to be minced up, and I'll usually go back and forth. Oh, it smells so good. I love cilantro. It has to me, the two spices or the two herbs that work the best in Mexican is cumin and cilantro. And once you start chopping the cilantro and you smell the cumin, it is definitely Mexican night. So we're having Mexican Monday. So this is going to get all chopped up for me like that. This is for my pico, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in my bowl with my pico, my onions and my tomatoes. So now we need, I'm going to set this, I'm hoping y'all can see that. Yeah, I think you can see. All right, so we have this over here. Now I have my lemon, and I've already rolled this lemon. So I'm going to take and wipe my knife off. I got cilantro kind of everywhere, but I'm just going to wipe everything off to the side. And I'm going to cut my lemon in half. So let me get my lemon squeezer. So I'm going to take my lemon squeezer and drop my lemon in like that. And then I'm going to bring my bowl over, and I'm going to squeeze about like that into my bowl. Now to this, we want to add some salt. You definitely need salt. And so I'm going to put a good little pinch of salt in there. And then my Tajin Classico seasoning. And I don't measure. I would say if you measured this out, maybe a teaspoon, maybe a half a teaspoon, depending on how much you make. So I'm going to sprinkle cumin in here. And then my one little secret ingredient that is kind of strange, but I put ketchup in it. And all that does is, and I'm just coming over to my refrigerator to grab out my ketchup. And I know it seems strange that I would put ketchup in pico, but I found out that this really does help it come together. And I don't put a whole lot, just a couple squirts. And then we'll take a spoon and we'll stir this all up. And this will be ready to go into a bowl. Oh, and my jalapenos. I didn't put the jalapenos in it. I always chop up some jalapenos. I knew there was something I was forgetting. I'll make sure that I have this all in a recipe on my blog, so you can just click on the blog link, and once you get there, just look for the PDF tutorial with it says recipe here, and you can click on that and get the recipe. Now I'm going to take my jalapeno over to my sink, and I'm going to go ahead and rinse it. Always make sure that I wash my fruits and veggies. Like when I started, I had already washed my lemons. I mean my tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this off one end and the other end. Put that in my bowl, and then I'm going to cut it open because I want to get all of that seed, or most of the seed. I do leave a little bit in because my husband likes a little kick in it. He just don't want a whole lot of kick. So I'm going to bring my trash bowl over so I can scoop out the most of that in there. And the same way with this. I'm not going to take it all out. I want to leave a little bit. It's about like that. So now I have those ready to chop up. And I like to cut them in small pieces because I don't think anybody wants a great big hunk of jalapeno. So I cut them in thin little strips, and then I dice them. Move that bowl over. Oops, one got away. One strip must have been hooked to the knife. That's okay, we'll get him. That is about a half of a jalapeno. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this one in here because this side didn't have any seeds in it at all. That side had just a very few. And like I said, the seeds and the membrane is where the heat's at in a jalapeno. Sometimes the pepper itself does carry a little bit of heat, but not anything like a habanero or some of the red chili peppers and things like that are super, super hot. So I'm just going to continue to chop this up. Just like that. And then I'm going to put this all into my... When I didn't see the green peppers in it, I was like, oh, I forgot my jalapenos. So look how beautiful that is. It is so, so pretty. It's a dish that you just enjoy making because it just looks so good. And this will get better as it sits. So I'm going to clean up my mess. I'm going to bowl this up in a cute little bowl where you can see all the colors. And when we come back, I will make my guacamole. All right, I thought I was going to make guacamole, but when I went to check my avocados look very, very sad. When they start to speckle inside like that, this was the only one that I was able to even cut off a little bit of, and it just doesn't look good. So I'm not going to make that. But my pico turned out beautiful. So there's my pico, and it's ready. And I have my chopped onions. That's ready. And I have my chopped tomatoes. So those three things are ready to go. I still need to, let me raise y'all up a little bit. I still need to cook my ground beef and season it up, and I need to shred my lettuce and grate my cheese. So I'm gonna get those things going, and we just won't have guacamole tonight. It's just one of those things. So I should have looked before I started recording or anything, but I didn't. So it's not the end of the world. So we won't have guac. We'll have plenty of other stuff, and I've got some cheese dip. I'll just heat some of that up, and we'll have cheese dip and the pico and some regular salsa. There'll be plenty of things to eat with our taco salad. So I'll be back, and we will finish up the rest of this. All right, I'm back, and I have my head of lettuce. Now, anytime I have a new head of lettuce, I usually take a knife, or if it's sticking out, the end of it, I'll just tap it against the cutting board a few times and break that out. This one wouldn't break out, so I just took my knife and went around and cut out the core, and the core looked like this when it comes out. So I take that out because that causes your lettuce to brown on the edges like this. And then anything that looks brown or orangey, I just break it off and put it in the trash. Then my head of lettuce is ready to cut. So since we're doing taco salads tonight, I know I'm going to need a little bit more lettuce than if we were doing tacos. So I'm going to take half of a head, and I'm going to put the other half back in my bag, and that will go back in my refrigerator. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm using a serrated knife for this as well, and I'm going to cut very thin shaves of lettuce. You know, when you get the lettuce at a restaurant, how it's always very finely shredded, this does the same thing. And we like it like this. Now, if you like your lettuce bigger, you know, by all means, cut it bigger. But this makes a nice shaved lettuce by cutting it like this. And it works great on tacos or taco salads. So just continue. When I get down to that little piece, and I'm going to just start cutting this direction until I get it all cut up. Once I get it all cut, and some of these pieces that didn't get cut, I mean, not all of it's going to be really fine and thin, but the most of it will be. Then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to just go back through it crossways, just to give it a little finer cut. Then all I got to do is take this and put it in a bowl, and my lettuce is ready for our taco salads tonight. So I'm just going to grab just one of my mixing bowls. This will work just fine. And I'm going to take all of my lettuce and just drop it in the bowl. And any that's left on the cutting board, we'll just kind of rake that in there too. I got a little bit on my tea towel. And now we have our lettuces ready, our onions, our pico. I'm going to get the grater, and we're going to grate some cheese next. So let me just move this all out of my way. Clean this off. And if you have a garbage disposal, never throw your lemon this away after you squeeze it. Drop it down into your garbage disposal and let your garbage disposal chew it up. It makes a wonderful cleaner for your garbage disposal, and it makes it smell really good. Just another little tidbit from me to you. So I always do that because I love the way that fresh lemon smells. So this is my cheese. This is a sharp cheddar, and we buy this from Costco. And we probably keep Costco in business with buying this cheese because we both love sharp cheddar. And I'm going to cut a piece, and we're going to use our little nifty grater. This thing is worth its weight in gold. The fact that it locks down to your counter. Pull it over here where you can see it really well. Make sure you can see it. I think right there is good. And I'm going to lock it down, and it doesn't move. It locks it to your counter. I'm going to take my knife, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a decent little block of cheese off of this. My husband always says I can't cut straight, and he's right, I can't. I never ever cut the cheese straight. But it's okay. You know, I cut paper fine, but then that's because I have a paper trimmer that lines me up. So a little bit different with my cheese and the knife. It always wants to go sideways on me. I have a little container here that I keep my cheese in. So I'm going to put that up under it, and then we're just going to go ahead and start grating this cheese. And how wonderful is that to be able to grate sharp cheddar that quick. And this does my Parmesan. I never ever buy the pre-grated. Now, I mean, I do use the one in the green jar, you know, the regular Kraft Parmesan for some things. But when I'm doing my homemade Italian cooking, I want real Parmesan Reggiano, and I grate it myself because I can buy blocks of it a lot cheaper than I can get it grated. So I'm just going to continue this amount because I think this will be enough with some left over for my puppies. They love, I'm surprised they're not over here because they hear me grating cheese. But usually when they hear the word, they come running. But anyway, That is my cheese all grated up. So I'm just making sure I got it all. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to shake it out. And this thing comes apart and it cleans up so easy. I just drop it in the dishwasher and it is wonderful how it cleans. Now the base doesn't need to be cleaned and the handle doesn't need to be cleaned. Just this piece and the grater and the thing that you push the cheese with. So now we have our cheese all grated. So I'm going to rearrange my camera. I'm going to get my meat in the pan and we will get this on the road here pretty soon. And I'll be right back. All right, we are back and we are repositioned over here by the stove. And you can see I have a cast iron skillet here on this burner. And over here I have a pot with vegetable oil in it. And I have the pot about that much in it, maybe not quite half full. And we're going to use that to fry our bowls for our taco salads. And I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to turn some heat on up underneath this. And I am going to go ahead and cut my meat open. I usually buy quantities of hamburger at Costco. And when I get home, it's usually like a 6 or 7 pound pack. And I divide it up in 1 pound portions because it is just me and my husband. And I put that in the freezer in food saver bags. And then it just lasts us a good while because I can easily get 6 or 7 meals from a big pack of hamburger. So I'm going to grab a secret to having your meat very loose and open is putting the water in it at first. So I'm going to grab a little bit of water. This is 2/3 of a cup. And I'm going to pour that over top of my hamburger. And then I'm going to grab a fork. You can use the meat chopper if you want to. I find that I can do just as good with a fork. And all I'm doing is just going to mash that hamburger into that water. And that helps the hamburger loosen up. And actually, it cooks really, really good like that. And when you finish, you have a very fine textured taco meat. And we like it like that rather than having it crunchy. So I don't put onions in mine. Now you could. It would probably be absolutely delicious to put onions in it. I don't know why I don't. Maybe next time I make Mexican, I'll do that. But what I do is I just go ahead and my Alexa is going off, letting me know that somebody's at my front door.
I missed something. Can you say it again?
Cancel, Alexa. Okay, I'm going to let this meat cook, and once it gets up to temperature, I'm going to add, in just a few minutes, I make my own taco seasoning, and I've got it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of my taco seasoning into my 1 pound of beef. So it's pretty much just like what you buy. It's just homemade. And I will link my recipe for the taco seasoning as well. Mine's a little bit different than some people's because I do put some cornstarch in mine for the thickening part, because when you buy the brand name of taco seasoning, it already has thickening agent in it. And nobody wants taco meat that's not thickened. And that's what that water does. So I'm going to grab just a tiny bit more water and put in it and let this cook. And then once this is done, then I will we'll be right back and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, as you can see, my meat is cooking really well. So see if I can turn it up just a little bit. You can see everything is incorporated. I did not have to add any more water to it. I thought I was going to, but once I got the seasoning mixed into it, everything loosened up on its own. So that is cooking down really good. And I want this to cook for about, I guess, 15 minutes or so, just so those flavors can all meld together with the ground beef, and that's going to be delicious. Now over here, like I said, I have my burner on this side, and I have that vegetable oil cooking. And this is my little tool that I use, and I got this off of Amazon. And what you do is you lay a tortilla over top of the pot and you push this down on top of it. And what it does, it allows your bowl to form. It comes up around this and it allows your bowl to form, and it fries it nice and crispy, just like you went to a Mexican restaurant and got it. And I'll link this underneath the video. So if you're interested in picking one up, you can. So I do have an affiliate link with Amazon, so anything that you click on there, I get a small kickback. So I appreciate it if you do use my link. That does help me out a little bit in bringing y'all quality videos. So I'm going to stir my meat a little bit because I want to make sure I'm keeping it moving. I do have my burner down on medium low, and I'm just going to let that cook. And I'm watching my oil because I want my oil to get up to about 300, and I have a old-fashioned candy thermometer, but you want it to get up to about 340, 350, like on a thermometer like this. If you don't have a thermometer like that and you have one of the digital ones that is something like this, you can use this as well. And you just open it up, stick this probe down into your oil, and once it gets up to like 350, you're good to go. You need it to be that warm in order to fry your tortilla, and that way it doesn't sit there and soak up the oil. While that's heating up and the hamburger meat is cooking, I'm going to prepare a pan over here so when I take these out, I'll have a place for them to sit where they can drain, and then I can put the next one right in. So I'm going to take care of that, and as soon as I get ready to fry these, I'll turn the camera back on and you can see what's going on. All right, everybody, we're back, and as you can see, my hamburger meat is all done, and I'm going to move y'all just a little bit closer so that you can see this pot a tiny bit better. And I use the flour tortillas, and I use the ones that are, I believe these are 10-inch. They're the large burrito. So I'm going to take out my first one. And I'm going to lay that over top of my pot like that. And I'm going to grab my basket. Now you're also going to need a pair of tongs, something that you can maneuver with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this down. Make sure you get it right in the center and push it down. Oop. And see, if that happens, that's where you need to be able to pull this back up and get that centered into the middle of it. So it's not an exact science, but it does work. So now I think I got it, and I can press it down and hold it into the oil. You can see it's frying really, really good. In fact, it's frying a little bit too good. Let's turn that burner back just a hair. It doesn't take these very long at all to cook, so they go in and out within a couple of minutes. So I'm swirling it around to make sure everything is getting brown. You want to make sure you're holding it underneath the oil so that all edges of it get cooked. And then once you see that it's golden brown, take your tongs and go in and lift it out like that. And then bring it over and drain it on your, and I like to turn them upside down so that way the oil goes out of them as well. So see how I turn that one over? And I'm going to grab another one because I'm making a taco salad for both me and my husband. So, and you could fry these ahead of time, and you could just stick them back in the oven to heat them up if you needed to. So this one I'm going to try to do it fast so it goes down evenly. That one went down much better. And it's a little bit of a learning curve, but this is a great tool to make your taco bowls. And if you're one of those people that loves to get a taco salad when you go to your favorite Mexican restaurant, then I'm telling you, you will adore these, because I know I have. And 90% of the time when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I get a taco salad or a Mexican pizza. Those are usually my two go-tos. Now we need our heat back up. I'll turn the heat back up. And these are just so good. They're just, they're crispy and yummy and just full of flavor. I'm probably going to add a little bit more water here to my taco meat. I did turn the burner out from under it because it had cooked all the water out of it, which is what I wanted. Okay, let's get the edges of this one browned. I'm just swirling it around. I think turning my burner down was the wrong thing to do because it did not come back up as fast as I was hoping. But that's okay. It will still fry. It'll still be tasty. Yummy, yummy. I'm making sure I'm turning it so I'm getting all the sides of it down into the oil. You saw how fast that first one went. I mean, it went really super fast. I'm going to turn it over and let the edge of it go down into the oil. I'm going to lay this over here on a paper towel. And turn that burner off because I think we're just about done. Yeah, that one's good and golden. Take it out and just drain that oil off of it as it comes up. I'm going to move my, I'm going to move that so I can lay this upside down because I really want that oil to drain out of it. Oops. Let's get this one the same way. And you can see once you're finished with it, they are golden. That one's puffed up a little bit there, but it gives you a great place to build your taco salad in. And they are delicious. So we're going to build our salads, and when I come back I'll take a picture. I won't come back. I'll just take a picture of our food and I'll have that to put on the site, and you can see how yummy our little Mexican dinner ended up being. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys so much. So until next time, take care, be kind, keep cooking, and remember, you've been cooking with Kathy. So, and you know, I always close every video with telling you that we need to give our Lord and our Savior all the praise that we can because He is worthy. So until we craft again and until we cook again, remember, I love you guys so much. Bye.